was a 4.25, so certainly read your two scores. That's from Harris. Working on the other end. And that is beautiful. Another shot at this as well. Standing away. Now serving under the New Zealand flag. Family origins coverage in South Africa. 13.5 on the clock service, 13.5. And no response report for Robson Santos, who having a look at him up and running here now. Got a few of twos, he's open, can do something. Oh, just a little elevation there. Under the flat foot surfboard right there. Flatten out here. So judges collecting scores now and 13 minutes remaining on the clock surface. We'll look at the situation as the numbers arrive. Serving red in the lead with a 6.75 and a 4.25. Serving yellow, your last line is 3.65, your opener at 5, your line second. So, first red, second yellow, third white. White, you are looking at 6.15 to attack second. Your two scores are 2.5 and a 2. And Jason Harris currently riding. Good snap for him, he's riding fourth. About that card going out, and we're in now about certainly the right over his rock shell. That's been strong out in the front of the 50. Have a look at the hit relay. Wow! Into the air goes the Rio. Oh, that's up to the man. Comes up stuck though for ride number 4. Have a look at this, here it goes. So circles once again, 11 minutes on the clock, 11 minutes remaining. Red lead, yellow second. Yellow looking for 6.01 to take the lead from red. Red leading with a 6.75 and a 4.25. You're now up into third. Your last round of 4.15. Features in the top 2. Your line third, you're looking for a 4.51. To attack circuit in the yellow second place. Now, leader comes the man up and right. An attack. Not much more than that. And now the pavilion. A double stop for him. Still not unlocking the figures out there in white. And here we go, Jackson Harris. Down to the out, for a throwaway score. As the official halfway mark is now arrives. 6 minutes remaining, Christmas. Now 10 minutes remaining. All our surfers keeping a high work rate here. They're coming in on 5 waves or more at this stage. we go. Demon Surfer attacking. Looking for the lead now. It's Ancio. Trying to beat down 0-1 from the judging panel to take the lead from there. Meanwhile, Zillion and White up and riding. The wraparound car on a small wave of Robson Santos from Brazil. Here we go, your third place service in motion, Jason Harris. Not much on that. With now a little over 8 minutes remaining service, now 8 minutes remaining. Unlocking something with around 7 miles to go. That'll be a banker for your man in white. And we are saying the first one. Check some numbers for that. Currently line 4 is your man in white Robson Santos. The Brazilian will wait for the score. And then we'll relay the information that's going to have an impact on proceedings. We're going to about 6 minutes to go. All right, folks, numbers checking into the trophy here. 6.6 running through the grocery store for Robson Santos, who goes from 4th to 2nd. So 6.5 on the clock, and they keep the hard over the line. Here comes a big lump of water to the leader. Are we getting anything out of it? Oh, he's not. Going to end up being worth not a whole bunch. Now, on the outside, going towards Gold Rock. Big hit for the Brazilian in white. Just the one member. So 6 minutes now remaining. Exchange there. And a new situation arising here. With Robson Santos going from 4th to 2nd. Temporary yellow. Matt Lewis Hewitt to a down now into 3rd. The requirements of 5.26. But another score could come in. A single turn for Robson Santos in white, so hold on there. 5.5 to go now on the clock. Alright, so forcing the score, and now the lead lead is the Surfing White. Surfing White in last ride, 4.75. Your previous ride, 6.6. You are now in the lead. So, situation changed. Now, white first. Now, red second. Red, you down into second, looking for a 4.6. Yellow down to third, looking for a 6.01. Jason Harris, you're fourth, looking for the 6.85. Final just under 5 minutes now. Alright, our fourth place surf in the mix here. Judges, difficult conditions here with now a side shore breeze just to ruffle up those wave faces a touch. We've got more now into what we call the south-southeast direction. It's making for a little bit of bump on the face. The combination of those ways, being a little more buckled and probably not ideal, but some of the little bit of surface, they can deal with it. Time call now, 4 minutes remaining, guys. Bumps moving into the lineup here, and well, fourth in the situation was meant to be as well. Now your American in blue, Jason Harris, stepping away, close to the Devon seat there. Top 4, 2.5 minutes remaining. White leads, red second, yellow third, and blue fourth. Second yellow looking for 6.01 now in this late stage. Jason Harris looking for 6.5. Your last run was a 2.9. The best feature in the top 2, Jason. Yes, girls, Ballito Pro Presented 1,000, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready. Meantime, let me use it, passing away. You can functional correct if you like that. The clock's now inside the final 2 minutes. We'll watch that scorecard closely now. The judges working on the north of yellow. Blue goes down and white clears down also tumbles. So all eyes on the score for yellow that comes in 90 seconds. So right now, no change to the situation, but all awaiting the score for the loss of yellow. Remember that circling yellow leads for 6.01, the loss of yellow is a 5. Drops enough, no change to the situation. Yellow, you remain third looking for 6.01. Blue, you remain fourth looking for 6.85. Drop is now inside the last minute. We're down to 45 seconds. The second place server will just keep ownership of this wave, and you're fending off on the other surface shooting inside. There's reloading now like from Japan. Now the TV surfer, 7.5 here in the final 30 seconds. And we are saying that little hand file. It won't happen, 20 seconds to go. And as we move to wrap up the four of the trials quarterfinals, we'll go to the countdown now to shut it in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so unofficially Robson Santos from Brazil in white and Rio and Alvarez in blue and white. So the extent of Brazil and Jason Harris. Girls in semi-final number 1 of the Ballito Pro, the Presented 1,000, first time in 5 years in that girls circling back there. Ballito, 61 to 30 seconds to start. And your heat countdown comes with 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks, Steve, and no time. I've said that we're going to So first up, we're going to go for the work 5.5. It's going to be 5.5. Last and yellow punting and 3 points for the last and yellow 3 points. So with that Hittercraft moves up into second place. Last but not least, Faith McDonald to the ground in fifth place, 7.5. Last the red, 7.5. So Faith McDonald is decent. They're leading with the semi-final. In fact, Hittercraft 19.27. Crystal Vision in the blue, down in third. Just past the halfway mark, sisters, 9 minutes 40 seconds on the clock. Still plenty of time remaining as you see where I think they do. I think they're good there. They've got more than they can start with that. Time call circles higher. Time check numbers. Once again, it's red first, yellow second, blue is third. Crystal Unit, 2.7 points. White is fourth, red first, 4.0. White is 4 points. So Signal Gorilla hit a block, you lost line 3 points. And your previous line also 3 points. So both those lines are race or previous top 2 lines. You sit in second place, looking in the perfect team and then the winner of the just a really green in the third, you hit on 1.75. If you want to do so red line was 4.4 time for 4 minutes. So it's red goes, yellow signal, blue goes, green and 3.65. Now 4.4. Down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so congratulations to Joseph Norbert doing a great job here for the win. Second one, second place, congratulations to the final.
We're here in Ballito, and it's a pretty sunny day here. You wouldn't believe that it's winter. We're watching the women's quarterfinals at the moment, and some of the girls here are really tearing it up. Yep. I'm waiting here for my partner, George Rappel. He's a WS commentator, and Ballito, I'm the commentator. We're having a good time here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright, I need to swap headsets as well. Stand by. Okay, I'm back. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yo, yo. Yeah. I didn't do anything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Stand by. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is our fault. Yeah, I can feel it clicking here. Yeah. Working. Good. Good. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yo, yo, yo. 1 2 1 2. Test test test. How's that? Yeah. Yeah. That's the one unplugged. Try again. Yo. 1 2 1 2. Unplug at the bottom of the mic as well, maybe. How's that? 1 2 1 2. Yo. Still breaking up. Okay. Do you want to maybe change the cable? Make it nice and tidy.
However, wave number 3 secure hard comes in at 4.95 and fourth line 2.75. So almost 2 lines going to the top 2. So several right moves up into second. Keep it up with the other moves to sleep. By black, 7.1 over 2 hard to white. Second line over to second. Territory red down into third. Red needs a 3.91 to move back into second. And blue Smith down for a 3.61. The middle row is a lead and water on the back end. To the right, coming solid. So 7.5 minutes on the clock. Still holding line in second now. Territory red in third. Red looking for 3.91. And blue looking for 3.61. So another minute for the 4.45. So car one in the last of the semi-finals for the women. 4 minutes on the clock. 2 on white, still holding down second place. Up to 2 on track. Looking for the third orders, touches through the nicely. So super one on the second line on the semi-final. Victor's in second place over Reed Territory. Separate here looking for 3.91. Separate blue, that's for 3.61. Line yellow, 4 seconds up and down. Using white, 6 down line at 2.95. You see yellow goes to the side of the road. Last of white comes in at 3.6, so over to the top 2. Still hot, second one. Still in second place. However, red carriage up is Minardi at 4.55. Red is 4.55. Well done. Red carriage up is Silver and blue, Emma Smith looking for 4.25. Two and a half minutes, That's a good way. This wave of the heat so far, 6.25, that's the yellow, 6.25, so Peter Roberts still to be in the semi-final, still holding one, would be the 7.0 Gary Johnny and Red looking for a 4.55 still, and in the second blue looking for a 4.25. We're into the final minute, ladies, you've got 50 seconds remaining. 50 seconds, now Johnny, don't go, get the ring. We'll see you out of here now. Wouldn't be surprised if those rails were just spinning the one through. Very seconds. On down 15 seconds. In the last 10 seconds, we'll be back down to final number 2. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so come on, put your hands together for yellow to keep the roll with a good win in the semi-final number 2. Should have gone through the final. A lot of it's still hot. What you can take down to the next four. So there's in the next few score the next car, 8 seconds going on the start. And again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. on the short break. And then comes the other way, going on the camera. All sorts coming out of the picture and bringing up the road. This is the Cape Town of Ballito Pro Presented. Welcome. So over to the bloggers. Here we go, 70 wide seconds of this one. Watch the paddle and we're going to behind the actually the road. Really wide there. Alright, now we'll pick up from short starts here in the semi-finals. London and the team are started right on the left, and then you see State Versus going on the right. So we started now in the step up the middle, the Ballito Pro. That's right, you can make some noise for that kid. You see what's happening. The first round, now the first round of 575. First, all right, second, 875. Drop of the seaside. catching the water now. Stay pressed with up and running on the step down there. Right, Fabio Magagino rattling on second yellow, Owen in second, first down the field, down, Right, the score's up for yellow. Five on that last drive. Fabio is the yellow in second, 106.6. Lucas in third, 185. Second, 140, 141. And it's straight on the five. Scored by the section. Fabio up and riding now. Shutting it down. Right, so there was an interference, right, blue, and 4th behind me, 987. Slowing me in 987. 3.5 minutes to go. Ricky is yellow in second. Blue in third, in 825. White and 987. so, I'll give it a go. Yeah, 2 minutes circles, 2 minutes. Alright, so he's up there heading just under 2 minute mark. Red leads. Yellow is in second with 6-1-6. Moving forward with 2-5. Right in fourth. What's happening? Oh, yeah, getting into it, getting in. Over comes like that. Hard round, the little round grab. And number 5. One minute circles, 1 minute. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, we're going on hold while I wait for score circles going on hold. Circles are on hold. I'll give you a countdown just before we start the heat. Last quarter is coming. Right, congratulations to number 2 going to the about the next heat down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, in the water, Rafael Serra from Brazil, David Grant from Hawaii, Robson Santos from Brazil, and Rio Canada from Japan. Hopefully I can support you keeping an eye on Maddie. first of red. Red, your first score at 2.0. Rafael on the first leg, 2.0. Australian on the first line at 2.0. First two lines in yellow. Roxy on the first two lines, 175 and 1.0. Third on the yellow at 65 if you want to take them off now. Turn on the side, over. Right, update is as follows. We'll give you that into Rio, what we have is a 675 and a 625. So you'll throw that into Rio. Rafael from Pedro in second with 525 and 510. You require a 775 check the lead. Watson in yellow, you have a 625 and a 175. You're looking for a 4.10. Red man in white is in fourth. The 36 and 3. Benji is 675. We are down to 11 minutes to go. Right, a quick little ride over the next one. Second one. Right, so 8.5 minutes to go. Blue is in the lead. Red in second in a 7.75. Yellow in third in a 4.10. 6.75. Each score winners. We won't be posting lots of photos on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. You can hashtag #WhatIsYourScore. Coming up next, we've got the ladies' final with the Burr. It's a 1,000 event, 10,000 rand prize money for the lady awards. For one day's work. Of course, this other day we want to remind you of not
So doing a voice check, 1, 2, 3, picking up on heat 2 out in the water. Benji Brand in white, down into 4th place. Robson Santos, the Brazilian, in 3rd. Rafael Teixeira, fellow countryman from Brazil, holding on to that 2nd place wearing the red singlet. And the Japanese surfer, coming off a good performance in the previous round, finds himself in the lead here, not by a huge margin. Just a little under 7 minutes to go now in the afternoon light here in Ballito on the east coast of South Africa. We are about 30 miles north of Durban, boasting some of the most beautiful winter weather. Also some girls with
Yellow lead, blue in second in 7:01. Red was in third in 7:15. White in fourth in 8:45. Both 1:08. All right, so fill up your name, you run well done. April breaks Sunday semi-final number 2. Down to 30 seconds. Right, Ballito, Robson, Santos, Tony Wood. Oh, huge first turn. The thumbs on the track, water away from Robson Santos. Down to 10 seconds. Down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, it's a very good afternoon from the sunny shores of Ballito Bay on the east coast of South Africa. It's the Ballito Pro, proudly brought to you by Billabong, and we are in the women's final. It's the Ballito Pro, the QS 1000 women's event, and we are waiting to get the finals underway. So thanks for joining us in our test broadcast here with a big week ahead in Ballito. It's been a fantastic day of surfing for both the trialists in the men's event and, of course, the women having a go here for that 10,000 Rand. It's a big prize here in South Africa, $1,000 and 1,000 points up for grab for the winner here. The first time since 2009 that Ballito has seen professional women's surfing come back to its shores, and it's great to be part of it here in 2015. Of course, this is the first year that the Billabong have got involved with the event. This is the longest professional running surf event in the world history. 47th year of its edition. It's gone through many chapters on its journey, but we find ourselves in 2015 celebrating a great future here with a strategic partnership between the Quadakuza municipality, the municipal area of Ballito, and it's great to be down here. I'm Gig Saliers, joined by Kai Linder. Kai, we've had a great day of surfing here. We've been seeing the men's trialists go through their journey. The women have whittled it all the way down. It's been testing conditions here in Ballito, and the women's final is underway with Heather Clark straight out the gates. She's been one of those consistent performers, plugging her way through the rounds here this morning, and you'd expect that from the likes of Heather Clark.
For the men.
Yeah, absolutely. So the tide is draining out. If you're just joining us now, these are afternoon scenes here in Ballito, and the women's final, like I said to the viewers earlier, Kai, first time that we've seen women's professional surfing back in Ballito since 2009.
Yeah, and here we see Nikita Robb up and riding. She's been charging all day. Super solid turn there over the section. She'll get a bit of a score for that. And the girls really have been charging hard. It's been great to see it. as we see Faye Zoetmulder up and riding.
Well, here's a girl that's been in great form all the way through, dominant performances through her quarterfinals and semis on her road to the final. Faye Zoetmulder, if I was a betting man, you know, we're not supposed to be biased in the commentary role, but I'd say that she's looking good for a title takeout here. Faye Zoetmulder, the goofy footer. I see a big struggle between herself, Heather Clark, of course Nikita Robb, a goofy footer as well. So a little dominance there from the Screwfoots.
Well, we got to give them something sometimes, don't we?
Well, so early days here as judges start working on opening scores for our surfers. Faye Zoetmulder. Well, let's go for a replay here, having a look at this opener of Heather Clark here.
Yeah, and she just works it through to the inside. You can see the patience. She's not going to try and push too hard on her early wave. She wants to get some scores under the belt. And that first turn was nice and clean and just kind of got caught up on the second one.
Yeah, so Heather's been using her forehand surfing through most of the duration of the event here today. Seeing her pick up a rare right-hander. She's mostly been working the left through the rock area. And as I say that, here she goes now, just clicking, trying to get some motion here. We've just come off the hard tide. We are moving into the week with the what the Australians call the king tides. We call it spring tides here. And we'll pick up live action with Nikita Robb. Now, Nikita's a great, solid performer who's done her time on the QS. She's hit some big numbers in her career. And coming out of East London, she's a wily competitor.
Yeah, Giggs, I've really enjoyed watching her surf today because the big thing is she hasn't tried to like over surf. What she's really done is concentrated on those big hits, and she's got the power. She can really do those big turns, and she's been in the scores. And if you look at the scores coming through for her first wave now, one solid turn, got a 6.0.
Yeah, so Nikita Robb laying down a level here in the final. These are 20-minute finals on offer here. This one is a little over 16 minutes remaining in the Billabong Pro Girls event here in Ballito. And looking at those numbers dropping in there, Kai, a lower score there for Faye Zoetmulder opening with a 3.5. An uncharacteristically low set of numbers there for Heather Clark with a pair of 2s, but that's early on for her. Teal Hog posting a 3 as well. So until all surfers are 2 waves or more on the board, we don't get too involved with the leaderboard, so to speak. But Nikita Robb's 6-point ride is going to play a part in this final.
Yeah, it's definitely going to play a part. You know, in these kind of conditions, anything over the 6 and above is going to be considered a pretty damn good score. We haven't really seen anything over an 8.5 today. That's been the highest score of the day that we've seen. And with a 6 in the belt, a 3.1 is a little backup to put on the pressure. Nikita's looking good in this heat.
Well, of course, Nikita Robb and Teal Hog finding their berth in the final at the expense of Taryn Chudley and Emma Smith. We'll talk more about that because here goes Teal Hog out the gates. She's trying to get rid of a low-scoring 0.5 ride. She has banked a 3. Now that ride we've just seen will become one of her scoring 2 rides as we reach that 15-minute remaining mark in the heat. You can see that breeze going from right to left on your screen, so that's what we call the southerly wind here. We are east facing here, and cameras will pick up Nikita Robb, who has already nailed a 6, and this is looking like a useful effort for her here through to the inside. So Nikita Robb, well, that little tail stall there, that wasn't for any other reason except practical. You'll see that she's pretty much on the bricks there. There we go. Those rocks have been a menace to our competitors all the way through today's proceedings.
Well, Giggs, it's going to be something you have to be aware of for the entire event. Obviously, with those big storms a couple of weeks ago, a lot of sand being eaten away at Ballito. And there are 2 or 3 very prominent sets of rocks across the whole contest area. And of course, where those rocks are is where the sand's going to form up, and that's where the banks are. So they're going to have to deal with them.
Exactly. Well, Kai, talk us through this replay of Nikita here. She's getting some good work down here on her 3rd ride.
Yeah, the first turn was a little small turn. You see her doing, like you said, the little breaks there for the rock. What I liked was the second turn. Came out of the first turn, smooth transition off the bottom, puts the fins up into the lip, and you could see she was already looking down the line, and thus lucky enough to see the rocks coming.
So Nikita Robb there on that last replay. Judges working on that score now for our surfer in yellow. She already has posted a 6, and guess what? She's brought a 6.5 to the table on that last ride. So Kai, a pair of 6s, that's going to be very useful. There's still plenty of time remaining. 13.5 minutes still to go here in the ladies' final. But with that 6.5 and a 6, And looking at the current conditions on display, we are coming off the high tide. I can't see a big shift in the tides in the next 13 minutes. Those are useful scores for Nikita Robb.
Yeah, 2-6 is not quite the royal flush she wants, but that'll get her in the lead and put the pressure on the other girls. And now she can kind of be a bit more patient out back, wait for the slightly bigger sets. If we watch the last men's semi, the surfer from Japan getting 2 really good scores on those wide rights, whereas we've seen most of the scores today coming on those little left bowls.
Well, yeah, so our athletes certainly challenged with conditions here on the high tide mark in Ballito. Definitely some tricky bowls, but there's been opportunities as well. Looking at the journey to the final, surfers like Faye Zoetmeld and Heather Clark have really stomped the authority on this left that's breaking just out from the rock shelf. So we'll see if the tide is going to drop just enough for Heather to start picking up. And again, as I say, Faye as well, really doing a neat job on the left-handers. We'll see if they can plug some lefts out for us with 12 minutes remaining.
Yes, the scores are coming in, and Teal Hogg getting a 4.35 for that wave, and just slowly putting the scores up, getting better and better. You know, she's a young surfer, still surfing in the junior series as well. And here goes our wily competitor, Heather Clark.
Well, Heather, having served a lot of time on the championship tour in the past, she was a stable figure for many a year there, proud representative of the South African effort. And Heather's career came sort of to a climax as Rosie Hodge made the scene. So we've always had a South African representing. Heather, of course, starting that legacy in women's professional surfing, flying the flag for South Africa. Of course, then we went through the Rosie Hodge era. And now we've got young Bianca Buitendach, who's also hammering away this year quite successfully.
Bianca's been on a tear this year. She really seems to have found her confidence. Last year it looked like she was a little bit shaky, but this year she's been giving it, and wow, she's got so much power in her surfing for a girl. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. The subject of discussion, of course, Bianca Buitendach, not here to contend amongst her fellow countrymen here, but with 11 minutes remaining on the clock, Nikita Robb is in the lead in this women's final. She's leading over Teal Hogg, and we spoke about uncharacteristically low scores for both Heather Clark in white and Faye Zoetmeld in red. So we'll be looking with keen interest to see if those two names just mentioned can come out the gates in the second half of this final car. Particularly Faye really opened up with some great scores in her quarter-final contribution.
Well, Faye's been ripping since early this morning. I was down here on the sunrise. She was one of the first surfers in the water. And amongst all the guys, she was just picking up these little left bowls around the rock and absolutely tearing them. So I expected her to do well today, and she's in the final. Just looks like she has been a little bit more picky in this final. She's looking for something that's going to give her a really good score. And sometimes in these conditions, that can be to your detriment.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are clock watching as we see the halfway mark now official. 10 minutes remaining of this 20-minute final, and on screen Teal Hogg will have another go at it. She's holding a 4.35 and a 3 as her two contributing scores. My feeling is that there's a lot more to come from Teal Hogg as well. She's really built her confidence as a young surfer in the last 2 years.
Well, yeah, I've been involved at the junior events for the last 3 years and watched Teal just come through the ranks, and it's been incredible to see her develop as a surfer. As we see Heather up and riding again, jams the little turn there, now works it into the inside and the float, and just look how relaxed she looks. I mean, that's a person who's been competing for years.
Yeah, well, the girls on tour used to nickname her Fergie because she had this sort of royalty about her and a bit of red hair, right? But anyway, Fergie, we affectionately call her. Heather Clark, a multiple ISA world champion, no stranger to finals. My feeling is that with 9 minutes remaining, I'm expecting her to plug out a big score for us shortly. Meanwhile, a little bit of contesting on the main peak there between Nikita Robb and Faye Zoetmeld. So no love lost between those two surfers as well. And meanwhile, Teal Hogg will pick up on another one here. Now she's using the right-hander. It's got a lot of ricochet and chatter off the rocks, those right-handers. So it's really tough conditions here. You see her frustration there on screen. She knows she needs more than that. She's holding that second place. And a big requirement to take the lead from Nikita Robb too, an 8.15 requirement for our second place surfer in blue Teal Hogg. But Nikita Robb right now, we spoke about that pair of sixes in the early part of this final. And here we go, heat leader on her way to a possible victory. Gets the little crack. She's got a low center of gravity. She gets the work done. And now Heather Clark. Now let's see. This is an important ride for Heather. Oh, opportunity astray for Heather Clark right there. Fact of the matter is that she did pick up a 3.65 on her previous ride. Now the judges will work on that score for Heather. We'll see if that starts bringing her into the discussion, because the time is moving on here. Just under 8 minutes to go. Let's have a look and see if we can pick up a replay shortly of either Nikita. Well, we'll pick up on Nikita here first.
Yeah, so Nikita drives off the bottom, gets the little fin out the back there, and then again the rocks coming up. She had to get out of there. But you can see the intent from her there. She really wants to drive those big power turns, get the points in the bag. And what I like about Nikita's surfing is there's no frills. She's there to do her job in a heat, and she'll really put the power down, put the hammer down, and, you know, the scores prove it.
So the Ballito Pro, presented by Billabong, it's a QS 1000 women's event. The World Surf League partnering with the Quadacruza municipality to continue that rich tradition of professional surfing here in South Africa. And great to be part of it here in 2015. Now, just under 7 minutes to go. Can Faye Zoetmulder, trailing in fourth and only a single ride to her credit, bring herself into the discussion? That is not the typical Heather Clark we know right there. Feeling some nerves, and I think that wave may have drifted right onto those set of dragon rocks I've been calling it on beach commentary all day.
The lost world down there, bro.
Yeah, we nicknamed that Jurassic Park. When we get another wide shot of the lineup in a minute, you'll see the rocks in the foreground. It really is, we're going to see some surfboards get destroyed this week. I can put money on that, because the sandbars have moved right out of position. The normal lineup here, thundering right-handers, has become more of a peaky beach break situation here for our competitors in 2015.
Yeah, it's a total A-frame. It's pretty incredible. When I pulled in this morning, the first wave I saw was a left-hander and a guy cracking turns to the beach, and definitely not what you see every day in Ballito. And here goes Teal Hogg. He really wants this wave and just can't get into it.
Well, Teal Hogg there, just trying to now put a lot of effort into the back part of this heat. It's a big requirement for Teal Hogg, an 8.15 required to attack that lead of Nikita Robbs. There's that rock shelf we're talking about. That's a great shot of it right there. We do have a lot of water in the bay right now. We're coming off a high tide at around, I'd say it was around 1:30, 2 o'clock. I'll get those exacts when we go into the main event tomorrow. But certainly we left wanting for those low tide conditions right now. The high tide has proved tricky here.
Yeah, Gigs, when we move into the main rounds of competition, you know, with a little bit of, you know, a couple of days on the waiting period, I think you're going to find we're probably going to end up surfing the low tides every day, and they might just go off on the high tides, especially if the swell gets smaller. And here come a couple of paddles. Heather getting in on the left. Oh, now we're going to have to see what happens there.
Well, Heather Clark holding through that broken section. You see how, well, there you go. There's a great shot right there. She's gone right over that rock shelf in her efforts. She's really giving it all she can, but she's holding low scores. A 3.65 and a 2.55 has her down in that third position. And I really thought coming into this final, Faye Zoetmulder and Heather Clark were going to be the discussion. And, well, interesting little moment there. We'll see if the judges do an interpretation of that. But Nikita Robb in yellow did do a very quick exit, so I don't think they're going to go for an interference call on that car. But stranger things happen in the sport, right?
Yeah, look, like you said, you know, she has to impede the scoring potential of the ride, and I don't know if that happened there. But she should be a little bit more aware and look behind her. You could see there as she took off, she was totally unaware that Heather was there. But she's already down the beach and looking for another wave, so it doesn't seem to have played into her mind.
All right, so on screen, your heat leader in the final, it's Nikita Robb. She's leading with a great pair of scores, a 6.5 and a 6. Has her head and shoulders above the rest of the field here in Ballito. And, well, it looks like she's going to be on her way to a 10,000 Rand purse. 1,000 points towards the qualifying series rankings ladder as well. So this is a useful visit to Ballito for Nikita if she holds out here. And, you know, I'll go out on a limb and say, unless something really special happens, it's looking like that's going to be the script.
Yeah, we're just over 3 minutes to go. She's looking good, and I guess dinner's going to be on her tonight.
Well, we'll wait and see. No premature speculation just yet. It is the final here in Ballito. It's the QS 1000 event. First time since women's surfing has joined Ballito again since 2009. Remember, of course, that event. The surf was so big we had to actually cancel the ladies.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, and there's Teal Hog up and riding right now. We'll just catch the end of that ride, and feeling the pressure a little bit, I think, Giggs.
All right, so Faye Zoetmulder is finding herself in 4th place in this heat with only a single ride, a 3.5 contribution. So on form has been Faye Zoetmulder the whole way through this event. I mean, she absolutely destroyed that quarterfinal number 1. She took out Sophie Bell, Jade Metz and Tanika Hoffman in that quarterfinal. So I'm surprised that she's not coming up with more here. And as I say that, here we go. She's found something. Good little crack in the pocket there to start. It's high tide and you can see how difficult it is. It's really, really putting our competitors to the test now. 2 minutes remaining on the clock. And well, Faye Zoetmulder, it's not a long paddle to get back out there. I mean, surfers are locking and loading again in the lineup in under a minute. So anything's possible here, but with a little under 2 minutes to go now, Car, it's looking like Nikita Robb is running away with this.
Yeah, you saw Faye there. First turn was great, and then just kind of got a bit bogged down. Almost took a rail to the face as she went down as well. But you know, Faye's not going to be too upset. She gets to go home to Seal Point and J-Bay and serve perfect right-hand points. So she'll be happy.
90 seconds to go now in this final. You see Heather Clark is not going to give up just yet. She needs a massive 8.85 to take the lead out from under Nikita Robb in yellow. And, well, it's definitely not going to happen on that. And that's a low pair of scores for Faye Zoetmulder, finding herself down in 4th position. A 3.5 and a 2.5 is not going to be enough with 1 minute now remaining. You can see the frustration on Teal Hog there. She knows she's in with a shout. It would definitely need to be one of her best waves of the day thus far. An 8.15 is a big ask in these conditions, Car. So it's looking like Nikita Robb sailing straight through here.
Yeah, it looks like she's got it under control. You can just see Teal Hog. I love it. You know, the youngster, she's so hungry for the win. She really wants to take these older surfers on and get on turn, start making a name for herself. And just getting a bit frustrated because she hasn't really gone on the waves to do that.
Well, I tell you what, if there's no change to the order with 30 seconds now to go, Teal Hog will take out 4,500 Rand for the day's work. That's not too bad, all considering.
Well, considering she's still at school, that's real good.
Exactly. All right, so one of the biggest sets of the day now rolls into the lineup. Is this the game changer for either Faye Zoetmulder in red, Heather Clark in white? And Zoetmulder's going to pick up on this on the end. This could be a game breaker right here. Big wave, easily the biggest set of the final. Didn't really open up enough for her there. I mean, she did get going. She got 2 functional turns. She's going to easily replace her 2.55 as one of her counting 2 rides. But really didn't really click it there for a big number. She was needing a 9 on that takeoff.
Well, look, definitely I think one of the best waves we saw in the final, let's be honest. But is it a 9? I don't see the judges going there.
All right, so the Ballito Pro Ladies Final now has wrapped up here in South Africa. It's been a great day of competition. We've crooned on about the fact that it's the first time that we've seen ladies professional surfing back in Ballito in over 5 years. And even that was a controversial event where we got washed out with too much wind, too much swell. So this is a big number for Nikita Robb to hit here.
Yeah, well done to Nikita. And, Faye, that last wave didn't get her into first, but she got a 5.0, which took her up into second. So she moves into second place. That means her prize purse went up as well. So not a bad result for Faye at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So stay with us because we're going to move straight into the countdown. And I do hear the beach announcers opening up the final of the trials. So this is a big day for one of these surfers here. There is a South African representative in Matthew McGillivray wearing the red singlet. He's up against Flavio Nakajima from Brazil and Robson Santos, fellow countryman. and also great performances to get him into the final. We have a Japanese surfer in the form of Ryo Inaba. So those are your 4 finalists here in the trials to wrap up Sunday, part of the preparations for the Ballito Pro coming to us from tomorrow through to next Sunday. A big week ahead in the sport of surfing.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And I just want to say well done to Matty McGillivray from Jeffreys Bay, one of the young junior surfers coming up through the ranks. And he's had a couple of close calls in these trial events over the last 2 years as a junior surfer. And he put on such a calm, mature display in that semi-final to take out the win. But here goes surfer in white, Flavio Nakajima from Brazil.
Right, so Nakajima flowing nicely to open up his finals here in the trials to qualify for those 2 slots to make it into the final 96 here for the main event tomorrow. Good flow from him. Now you see the camera angle on this. This is McGillivray on screen. He is sitting, I would say, geographically about 100 yards to the south.
Yeah, now we see just Matty McGillivray having a little look-see there. Matty, of course, in his semi-final played the same game he's playing now, sitting all on his own on this little right-hand peak across the beach gigs.
So let's have a look at the replay here, Kai. We're going to pick up on this opening ride of Flavio Nakajima.
Yeah, he drifted over the first turn. Now watch, he comes off the bottom, drives the rail through the water. The judges must have liked that. And here's Matty also just driving the rail. I love this angle of this little right down the beach. You see him crack the fins over the top. Now he comes into the shore break. And that was his game plan in the semis, and it paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. So picking up live there action with McGillivray in red. And now Ryo Inaba will go down on his wave number 2. He did pick up a 2-point ride to start, did the Japanese surfer in blue. Not a big number, a 2-point ride. But, well, he'll be looking for some momentum here. 20-minute final. And, didn't Ryo Inaba blow up in his previous heat? Really good surfing from him.
Yeah, in the semi-final. And one of the few guys to really put big scores down on the rights on the backhand. I got to say, also, I mean, in that semi, Robson Santos from Brazil just came right at the end of the semi to blow 2 big scores for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like Robson Santos at one stage was written off there. He really didn't get any of his gears locked, and then he came in with some big hits towards the end there. Now we're picking up on live action. Matt McGillivray from Jeffreys Bay, up and riding again and out. He's using a completely different set of rocks and reef here in the very uncharacteristic Ballito lineup that we're used to. And McGillivray will want to start building numbers here. Here we go for a big flare out and, well, almost a completion for Ryo Inaba from Japan. We've seen a couple of big airs this through the course of the day, but that one's an incomplete.
Yeah, and here we go. This is one of the guys who's been doing those big airs. Robson Santos from Brazil drives that board vertical into the lip, gets the second one, but got caught up.
So Robson Santos will go down with around 16 minutes to go. 4 surfers contesting those 2 places. So first and second advance through to the main event tomorrow. And isn't it a big field that's stacking up with a bunch of top surfers from the World Championship Tour making their appearance here in Ballito. We've got some big names. It's going to be a great week.
Well, you know, Giggs, when you're watching the trials and you got a name like Tiago Perez jumping out at you, you must know that the main event is fully stacked.
Yes, obviously a disappointment there for Tiago Perez, not advancing to this stage in the trials, so no qualification into the main event here in Ballito in 2015 for Tiago Perez. Also another disappointment for me. Well, there was a bunch of big names that went down. Connor Coffin, another one that fell out the running. Here we go for the Japanese surfer on the backhand. It's a big dump section. Now, folks, I'll tell you now, these waves are breaking on little parts of sandbars packed up right up against the rocks. So it's real tricky conditions here for our athletes.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. And you've seen Rio's last few waves, he's just caught up on the lip a little bit. And, you know, it's tricky conditions. You know, often when you've had 2 bombs like you had in the semi as well, suddenly the waves aren't coming your way in the final and starts feeling a little bit shaky. Nerves maybe getting the best of him. He wants one of those 2 slots and getting in the main event. These guys are all trying to qualify to get on the Dream Tour.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we always ask the questions and we speculate about nerves and stuff like that. But, you know, these guys are surfing so many heats through a calendar year. I always wonder if they don't just get themselves into a groove and they become quite detached from that nervous energy. That man on screen, Matt McGillivray, lying second in this final at this stage. He's banked a 5.25 and a 1.35. But check out this replay of the Japanese surfer.
What's really scary now is as you're watching there, you see those little riplets in front of that white water that is sucking dry over rock.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a couple of people end up dry docked, as you called it earlier today, Kai. Certainly he will come out alive on that, but there's been a couple of scary moments, especially with the girls surfing. I mean, they were right on that ledge through the high tide and just off the high tide. A couple of scary moments. But with 13 minutes 45 seconds on the clock, we are watching Flavio Nakajima from Brazil. Now, he is leading this final at this stage, holding a 6.25 and a 4.75 as his 2 counting scores. That wave we've just seen will be his 4th contribution. Now the question is, has he improved on the 4.75 and extending a lead over Matthew McGillivray from South Africa in red? Having a look at the numbers for McGillivray, he's banking a 5.25 and then a lowly 1.35. So Matt McGillivray on his next effort will want to be looking for a 5.76 to attack the lead. This man's down in 3rd and looking for a place in the main event. Well, he needed a 4.51 there to advance up into 2nd, and a pair of 2s is what Ryo Inaba from Japan is trying to get rid of. He'll pick up a slight improvement with maybe by a decimal or so as he's trying to ditch a 2-point ride. But honestly, I think there's a bigger call for him than that.
Yeah, interesting. The guys are going to have to really pull their A game out here. So we see Flavio paddling for this one now. It's kind of interesting. He's been attacking the lefts every heat, but now he's going right. Like that first turn, drove it up into the lip, but then just gets stuck behind the section. And you're going to see Mr. Robson Santos behind him now. Now, Robson, I've been loving watching this guy surf. Such a smooth style. Bangs that first turn vertical, gets the second one. He's just trying to work it up. Sitting in 4th right now, Giggs. He needs to get some scores on the board.
Yeah, uncharacteristically low scores there, but we did see this in Robson Santos's earlier heat. He really only came out of the gates in the back part of the heat. Still a full 12 minutes on offer here in the Ballito Trials final, and we'll pick up a replay now of that last wave of Robson.
Yeah, really drives the board up into the lip. You can see it was a bit wobbly though. That second turn not as good as the first. So, you know, he needs some big scores to move up into the lead. He's looking for a 4.11 just to get into second. He's going to need to do a little bit more than that, Giggs.
All right, so we're crunching a lot of numbers here and sounding like accountants, but that is what is required, is those 2 top scores. 11 and a half minutes remaining, and we're looking to see if this man in blue can unlock something and challenge for now that 2nd place position. A lesser requirement of a 3.36 for the Japanese surfer, but here we go. Robson Santos finally unlocking something in the well, almost the mid part of the heat.
Yeah, I really like how he got those tail releases out on the forehand there. Looking a little bit more comfortable on his forehand as well. I must say, Robson and Flavio have both been on fire through the event today, specifically on those little bowly lefts, getting those big air rios out. We haven't seen either of them get those waves yet. As I say that, of course, here goes Flavio. He's looking, decides not to go. And it's pretty interesting. We've got 2 Brazilians, a South African, a Japanese surfer in this heat, Gigs. Ryo Inaba could be from South Africa. Come on. And you look at Flavio Nakajima, could be from Japan. And here is the replay on Rio. That first turn was great, second turn not so good, and then just gets caught up by the lip on the last.
Well, judges will be putting numbers to these scores. You are watching the replays here, and on screen Robson Santos, who has banked a 6.5 and a 7.5 on his last 2 rolls of the dice, and those 2 scores now has him in the lead. So as we reach the halfway mark in this trials final, 2 positions on offer for the main event starting tomorrow here in South Africa. It's Robson Santos from Brazil in yellow, now leading in the back part of this final. And it's the two Brazilians dominating. We're looking for something more from Matthew McGillivray from Jeffreys Bay, South Africa, the lone South African in this final. He is in that third place position. His requirements of a 5.76, and he is the surfer that's sitting away from the pack. So there's your three surfers on screen, and well, off to the south side, I'd say separation of about 100 yards, is McGillivray using a different, a very unsurfed, in my opinion, a rock shelf that hard. I've never ever seen people surf on that part, but with the high tide and the banks having been through such a change here on the east coast of South Africa, McGillivray is deciding he'll back himself and sit on that peak. Now, if something comes through, he doesn't have to do any hustling for it. He's just got to pick out the best number of the set. If it's either wave 1, 2, or 3, there's that little overview in the late afternoon sun here in Ballito. And there's a little pan now. As we pan over to the left, you'll see there we pick up on the other competitors. So that's a big gap that's separating them. Questionable, is McGillivray doing the right thing here as the tide starts to drop out? Or should he be going and hunting down the same opportunities that the heat leader Robson Santos is working with? Interesting questions. We'll wait and see the answers. 8.5 minutes remaining as Flavio Nakajima from Brazil sneaks through that one. That's not going to have much of an impact. And your heat leader just trying to keep momentum now, Robson Santos, trying to just keep the clock ticking. He's got that 7.5 and a 6.5. So judges are loving the power, loving his speed and flow, but he's going to look for another one just to bank it.
Here goes the replay now. So you see Robson takes off, a little float over the section. Here's where the money comes, flings that board up into the lip and hops off the back. It's not going to be one of his top two scores.
Yeah, well, that was his last ride. It's going to check in at around the 4-point mark. It's not going to feature in his top two. And with under 8 minutes to go, your heat leader on screen will just want to keep some kind of precision and rhythm in the back part of this final. Remember, requirements now have stretched out for Flavio Nakajima, the fellow countryman from Brazil in the white singlet. His requirements now for the lead, a 7.75. So it's a healthy margin of the lead right now for Robson Santos. But I would say that surfer in white, Flavio Nakajima, is going to be under some threat from Matt McGillivray in red and Rio Inaba in the blue. Flavio Nakajima goes down in that effort. 7 minutes remaining. Kai, I'm wondering if just that outgoing tide hasn't just slowed the rhythm of the sets down a little bit at quite a vital time.
Well, we saw a couple of big sets coming through in the ladies' heat, but things can change very quickly, especially in this kind of beach break setup. So we watch Rio taking off here now. He's looking for a score of 6.5, and that is not going to be it. In the meantime, Matty McGillivray is still sitting off to our right, Gigs. You know, you asked if this game plan works for him. I mean, it definitely worked in his semi-final, and he has got one solid score. If you look across the spread, 5.25, it's in the top 5 wave scores. Means, you know, he only needs a 5.76 to get in there. So if a set comes and he gets another right-hander, he'll look at us and go, good game plan, I pulled it off. If it doesn't, then he could have been erring.
Well, it's the what-ifs and could-haves and would-haves and should-haves of competitive surfing. On screen is Flavio Nakajima. Right now, he's on his way to the main event. If he can maintain his second-place position, and he'll keep working for it. That's a little inspection. You'll see how high the work rate is in this compact beach break setup here in Ballito, and that's going to be a throwaway score. But I'll tell you what, it is his 8th or 9th ride, so big wave counts here in this small arena here.
Well, the 3 guys, foreigners in this heat, literally are the 3 highest wave catchers of the day. Every heat they've been in, they've just been on back-to-back rides. And here goes Flavio now, Gigs. Gets the fins up into that first turn, even better on the second, and that could be a score.
Yeah, well, he ditches it all the way to the beach, and you can see how long the shadows are here. It's now 4 p.m. on a winter's afternoon in the Quadakuza coast north of Durban, South Africa. And let's go for a replay of that, Kyle. Let's pick up what we can find here for the Brazilian.
I really like that second turn, just wafts the fins out over the section. Super controlled. He was never looking like he wasn't going to make it, and the judge is always going to reward that with a good score.
So Nakajima on the hunt for points here in now the final 5 minutes of this final, and it's been a big day. We've whittled through quite a lot of our competitors. couple of South African hopes really going down there. I did think that Slade Prestwich was going to be in the discussion. Point to note is that he is taken out the Super Trial at J Bay, and he'll be up in the World Championship Tour event next month. So, you figure when a guy comes off a big victory like that, he may just have a little momentum to spill onto this QS platform. That hasn't happened, though, and the South African discussion falls on Matthew McGillivray here in the red singlet, lying third, and, just a position out from qualifying for the main event tomorrow. He's still got a full 4 minutes, 15 seconds remaining, does our surfer from Jeffreys Bay, and he'll want to be making himself a statement. I mean, he will have looked at Slade Prestwich's performance. He competed in those trials himself. I mean, he's got a big future, Matt McGillivray. He's going to want to get busy.
Yeah, you can see him getting a little active there, but not getting onto that wave. Down the beach, some action now. This is Flavio again. Goes to the air. An absolutely perfectly executed aerial.
Flavio Nakajima throws the big numbers down here with 3 minutes 45 on the clock. Now this is McGillivray, who's sat for a long time on his solo peak, and he's going to be bitterly disappointed with that amount of time he's invested in that for that crumbling wave. So in the meantime, Flavio Nakajima goes for the big number. Remember, he's lying second, looking for a 7.75. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah, you can just see him looking down the line. He knew where that launch pad was coming. Extended tail high over the aerial and super clean.
Well, you can get a little critical of the flight path, the altitude, but in today's conditions, right here in this final, that's a real banger right there. So that's a 6.05 for Flavio Nakajima. Not enough to, or have they allocated that? I might be calling the wrong score.
No, I think that was the one before, so we're still waiting for a score.
Single maneuver effort here, Kai.
Yeah, just look at that front foot had to drop right down onto the nose just to pull it around. But no judder, no sort of getting stuck in the white water, absolutely smooth. And like you said, Giggs, in these conditions, that's a big move.
So punchy beach break conditions allow the surfer from Brazil in white to go to the air. Now we're picking up on McGillivray, who's found himself a runner on his little solo peak. And, I can't help but think that those were all very lateral turns. Good flow, good execution. We'll pick that up on the replay shortly. But McGillivray right now is looking for an 8.5 to challenge that second place position and reach that qualification. Two surfers advancing to the main event.
Yeah, Matty surfed really well on that wave. Beautiful, clean surfing. But like you said, there was no real vertical in those turns. Having said that, we're not the judges, and they might really like it from their angle. He's definitely going to drop that 2.65 and put a higher score in. I just don't think it's going to be high enough to get him into second place.
So the Ballito Pro Trials has now got less than 2 minutes remaining. It's a story of the two Brazilians here at the expense of the South African and the Japanese surfer, unless something changes. 90 seconds to go now, and Robson Santos in the yellow singlet is in the lead. His two scores accumulated a 7.5 and an 8.25, so a big improvement there for Robson Santos, really cementing a lead here with his last ride of an 8.25. And then a last flurry from Flavio Nakajima as well. And he's posted a 7.5, so we were both wrong. His single big air rotation has checked in at a 7.5, and situation now a little tighter for Robson Santos, but still a big requirement for Flavio Nakajima. An 8.26 required to take the lead. So right now it looks like our two Brazilians are sailing through to the main event here, Kai.
Yeah, and we see one of the men we're talking about, Flavio. He's up and riding in. He's in second, but, he wants to win it. None of these guys like coming second.
So a high work rate from Flavio Nakajima as he posts his 10th ride there. In and out inspection. 30 seconds to go now. Robson Santos in the yellow singlet is in charge of this final. Flavio Nakajima in the white. Two Brazilians are dominating here with Matt McGillivray trailing in third. An 8.5 requirement, and what surprises me is that he's continued to invest on his little solo peak. Now let's have a look at the Japanese surfer who reaches high at the end here. Big requirements for him. He really has been left out of the race here, so to speak, and it's a big magic score of a 9+ ride. Here we go, your heat leader in the afternoon light here, and that will signify the end of the final. It's done and dusted. No real game-changing scores there at the end to talk about. Robson Santos in the yellow from Brazil will take out the trials win. Fellow countryman Flavio Nakajima will roll out that second place position. They're alive and well and ready for the big game tomorrow.
Yeah, shame. We see Manny Bugilvray just outside the booth getting a cracker of wave, but just after the siren. But, finishing in third place, he's a junior surfer. He's still got plenty time to make name on the World Tour, and I'm sure we're going to see more of him.
So the World Surf League will see big action tomorrow as we commence day one of the QS 10,000 event, the Ballito Pro, brought to you by Billabong. It's going to be a great week of surfing. I'm looking forward to it. Certainly looking at the field of athletes when we get going tomorrow morning, looking at big names to start the day's action. Wiggly Dantas will take on defending champion Timmy Reyes in an exciting encounter. The other two surfers in that four-man heat will be Ian Gouveia and Griffin Calapinto. So great opening heats there. Looking down the draw for tomorrow morning's action, Heat 2 will feature Aleo Muniz, Wade Carmichael, that old familiar favorite name Chris Ward, and Marco Fernandes. So that's going to be great to catch the morning action there. We'll have... We've got Martin Potter joining us. We've also got Todd Klein that will be anchoring. So we've got a full team here on hand for tomorrow's action. It's going to be an exciting day. Afternoon scenes here in Ballito. Kai, just talking a little bit about the trials on the men's side. Tight, difficult conditions, certainly. Most of the day spent through the high tide. Are you surprised that the Brazilians have just come through 1 and 2?
Look, obviously we always want to see South African surfers do well and get through to the main event. Like you spoke earlier about Slade in the earlier heats, he was looking incredible. And, he came unstuck in his semi. Matty McGivray surfing great all the way through the final. But looking at these conditions, it really played to the Brazilian strengths, which is aerial surfing, really fast, tight surfing in small waves. And Robson coming out strong at the end there, man. He really did deserve it. He had four of the biggest heat score. He had the two biggest heat scores of the event in the semis and final.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking at the names that have fallen out here, other Brazilians to talk about, Rafael Teixeira, some big performances from him as he lit up those earlier heats as well this morning. We spoke about disappointments as well. One of the big disappointments for me was Connor Coffin falling out. Also names like Pedro Henrique, Brazilian surfer. I thought that he was in the mix there for a while. But one of my bigger disappointments, Tiago Perez. I mean, big name on the WCT, a seasoned campaigner. Testimony to how difficult the conditions have been here. This is definitely going to be one of the trickier, punchy, more compact lineups that Ballito's had to offer in all the years that the event has been here.
Yeah, Gigs, it's going to be tough, but that's what these guys get paid the big bucks for. The good news for you is guys like Connor Coffin, Tiago, you still get to see them surfing this week because Monster have the expression sessions on. If I'm not mistaken, we're going to have 3 different expression sessions during the week. And of course, all of those guys, especially Connor Coffin being a Monster team rider, he'll be there putting on a display.
All right, so we've got an action-packed week ahead. We will be crowning a champion sometime next weekend. That is the plan. It's a massive event with maximum points on offer. This is the QS 10,000, one of the big pinnacles in the qualifying series for 2015 as we look at sorting the surfers out to crown an undisputed world champion in 2016. So all important, these QS events. And as the year goes on, of course, the other QS 10,000 events that come up, those start playing a really big part in the back part of the year. And when we look at the draw, lots of World Championship Tour names will be here in Ballito this week. Looking at names like Matt Banting in the draw. I'm seeing Keanu Asing. He will be here to contest as well. And a great Geordie Smith, of course, defending champion from 2010. And, everybody gets incredibly feverish in the small surf community of South Africa when Geordie's back home. These are his original shores just down the road in Durban. And then, of course, you've got the seasoned campaigners. I see names like William Cardozo, Glenn Hall, and then, well, what about Ace Buchan? There's a big name for us coming up in the draw as well.
Yeah, I mean, great to see Geordie. Obviously, the big thing with Geordie is he's coming off those injuries. Is he better? How's he surfing? So people are going to really be like putting him under the spotlight. Another guy I bumped into on the deck earlier who we were hanging with in Namibia recently, Aritza Ramburu. He's always going to be dangerous in these kind of conditions. And what I really like as far as the top seeds go, the guys from the World Tour gigs, if we look at last year going into Jeffreys Bay, Matt Wilco just turned on fire at this event, making the finals and carried that momentum through to Jeffreys Bay.
Absolutely. Matt Wilkinson will be back in 2015 to have another strike at a title here. And of course, other names looking at the draw. Italo Ferreira, hasn't he just been on form in 2015 on the World Championship Tour stage? I mean, he blissed his way through the QS last year, really cementing himself as a threat. And names like Wiggly Dantos as well. So it's going to be a great week.
Yeah, Wiggly is one of my picks of the year so far. Coming on tour, and he has just been on fire on the World Tour. He's definitely been on my fantasy surface since the beginning of the year. And another guy, like you said, Italo, I mean, unbelievable to come on tour and, hand Kelly his marching orders, in his first year on tour. These new kids are coming on fire on the World Tour.
So that's the evening scenes here in Ballito. We are going to bid you farewell. We have just wrapped up the ladies' final of the Billabong Pro, the QS 1000 for ladies. First time in 5 years that we've seen professional surfing in the ladies format back here in Ballito. It's all brought to you by Billabong, and it's going to be a great week ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Awesome, well done, Gigs. So psyched for the main event, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bernice, there's no sound. I don't know if you can maybe shout to someone. Scott, just see if you can shout to Colin. There's no sound on the... Yeah. Testing. There we go. All right, we got sound. Okay, we're just going to wait for our cue from the webcast commentary booth before we'll get going with the prize giving. All right, so those of you down here on the beach, just a big thanks to those of you for hanging around and watching the first day of competition for the 2015 Ballito Pro presented by Billabong. It's been a hectic start to a week-long contest and a really exciting one at that. It's been fantastic to have the ladies competing for the first time in probably about 7 or 8 years. I know the last time we surfed it was unfinished business. We couldn't conclude the ladies competition. So it's been an amazing event so far to have the ladies competing today. And then, of course, the trialists as well. Pretty tricky, tough conditions. But all these guys doing a superb job out there. So we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to call up the 4 finalists for the ladies. We'll start with the ladies. So if your 4 ladies can please come up. Yeah, come on, give them a round of applause. It's 4 ladies. I think pretty much most of them surfed 3 or 4 heats today. It was a long day for them in some pretty tricky conditions. All right, so we're not going to waste any time and we'll get underway with the prize giving for the ladies. They were surfing for roughly 30,000 Rand in prize money for the ladies division, and I think just under 20,000 Rand for the final. But well done in 4th place to Heather Clark from Port Shepstone. She walks away with 4,500 Rand, I beg your pardon, 2,100 Rand and 525 points. In 3rd place, well done to Teal Hogg. Teal walks away with 2,600 Rand and 560 points. And in the dying 10 seconds of the heat, she snuck in 2nd place. Well done to Faye Zutmulder, 4,500 Rand and 750 points. Teal. So runner-up at the Ballito Women's Pro for 2015. And your winner for 2015, all the way from East London, well done to Nikita Robb, your Ballito Women's Pro champion, 10,000 Rand in prize money. So come on, let's make some noise for Nikita Robb. It's like her second home for her, coming up to Ballito. Nikita, let's get a couple of words from you. Pretty tough day today. You surfed all the way through from the first heat. You were unseated in the event. Must be a great feeling.
It is a really, really good feeling.
Tell us just a bit about the competition. You're up against some stalwarts like Heather Clark, some newbies out there. There's not too many ladies surfing contests on the calendar in South Africa. Yeah, good to put on a jersey again and especially get the win.
Yes, it is. I just want to thank Jess and Greg and everyone that made this event happen. It couldn't have, it's such an honor to be here, to have won the event, and to be hopefully coming back next year.
Awesome, and we know that you come up to Ballito quite a bit, and you have in the past. You spend a lot of time out here. You looked super comfortable out there. Was there any sort of strategy that you had?
I came up a couple of days earlier, and I just surfed a shitload.
Beep. All right, well, let's put your hands together one more time for your Ballito Pro champion, your women's finalist, and, of course, your winner for the Ballito Women's Pro 2015, Nikita Robb, 10,000 Rand richer. Thanks again, ladies. Testing. Testing. All right, we're back on the mic again. Are we live on the webcast as well? Beautiful. All right, so then we get underway with the prize giving for the men's finalists for the trials. If we can just get the two guys up here, Robson, Santosh, and Flavio. If you guys can come and join us up, give them a round of applause. All right, so just for those of you not in the know, these two guys had to compete in the trials just to secure a spot into the final for the main event, or get a spot into the round of 96. And it is a 6-star prize, so it's a massive event for these guys. But well done, taking out second place from Brazil, Flavio Nakajima, your trials runner-up for 2015. And your winner, fellow hometown boy, Robson Santosh, he takes out the win. Your trialist winner earns himself a berth into the main event. And we'll get a couple of words from the guys after some of the photos. All right, Robson, let's start with you. Just tell us a little bit about how tricky today was in some of the conditions out there.
Sorry guys, my English is no good. Still happening. To the prime.
That's all right. So, Robson, great to have you into the event, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of you surfing up against fellow colleagues on there. And Flavio, anything you want to just tell us about some of the conditions? You guys both pushing each other pretty hard out there.
It was difficult trials for me because everything guys did surf in the trials. I'm super stoked. Super important for me I need that point the time. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Any last words you want to say in your home language in Portuguese, just to the crowd back home watching on the webcast?
Fala galera, estamos aqui, eu e o Naka. Semana retrasada a gente treinou em Maresia junto, uma valinha de esquerda, bem parecido. E deu certo o treino. Estamos aqui na final da triagem, ganhamos e estamos classificados aí para o Prime para amanhã. E seja o que Deus quiser.
Obrigado.
Nada. Pô, tô super feliz. A triagem pra gente foi um campeonato. Foram várias baterias difíceis. E graças a Deus a gente conseguiu achar boas ondas durante o evento e conseguimos classificar nessas duas vagas. Tô super feliz. A gente, como ele falou, a gente veio treinando junto em Maresia semana passada. E quando eu entrei ali na final, eu e ele tava junto. Eu falei, pô, que Deus abençoe a gente e que a gente consiga essa vaga, e deu certo. Queria agradecer meus patrocinadores, a Tent Beach, a Tony Country, a Spy, a Imperial, a PG Storm, a Bullies e a todos que acreditam no meu trabalho. Obrigado a todos que estavam na praia torcendo. Agradeço a todos que estavam na internet também lá da Praia Grande torcendo. E amanhã é um novo dia. Obrigado.
Awesome, there you have it. Give it one last round of applause for our two trialist winners. They earn a spot into the round of 96. We'll catch up with them, I'm sure, at the start of the week tomorrow and Tuesday as they get through their heats. And join us again tomorrow morning, bright and early. 7 o'clock, we're going to make a call for a possible 7:15 start. And we'll look forward to some more competition tomorrow. Thanks.